There comes a moment in your journey where it seems nothing is changing. The world around you feels stubborn, unmoved. But listen closely. That's the exact moment when the transformation is happening deep beneath the surface. Your desire was not born out of chance, it was born to be fulfilled. The moment you imagined it with conviction, you created it in the unseen. And now, even though your senses may deny it, the invisible structure of your life is being rewritten. When you begin to feel uneasy, don't mistake it as a problem. That discomfort is the old reality being shaken loose. You are shifting. You are evolving. The state you once lived in is cracking because a new state is being prepared for you. Do not retreat. This tension is sacred. When your desire starts to feel more real than what your eyes can see, know this: you are aligned. You are no longer hoping. You are knowing. And in that knowing, you've already entered the end. You walk in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and it becomes your new atmosphere. People around you may change. Some will disappear, new ones will enter. Conversations will seem strange, coincidences will rise, but these are not coincidences. This is the rearrangement. The bridge of incidents is being constructed to carry you from here to there. Let it unfold. Without fear, you'll find yourself not needing to make it happen. That is the clearest sign. When you stop chasing, you start attracting. When you let go of the outcome and dwell in the end, everything begins to flow. You'll realize it's not about forcing, it's about assuming. And yes, sometimes things will delay or break or shift unexpectedly. Don't panic. These are divine adjustments. They're not here to stop you, they're here to prepare you. Stay still in the knowing that your desire is already finished in the unseen. And then, the signs, repeating numbers, dreams, whispers, words overheard at the right time, all of it pointing you forward, all of it confirming what your imagination has already conceived. So I tell you, don't give up. Even if nothing looks different, your manifestation is working. Even if it feels quiet, the universe is not silent, it's precise. Remain faithful to the end you've chosen. Live there, feel there, rest there. Because your assumption, if persisted in, will harden into fact. And when it does, you'll smile. Not in surprise, but in remembrance. Because deep down, you always knew it was yours. There are moments along your journey when you feel unsettled, anxious, even frustrated. You've imagined the life you want. You've declared it, assumed it, and yet the outer world seems unmoved. You wake up with a strange restlessness, a quiet inner discomfort. And here is the truth you must understand: that restlessness is not a sign that things are going wrong. It is not a setback. It is a signal, a spiritual signal, that something within you is transforming. You are not who you once were. The moment you conceived a new desire, a life greater, freer, richer, you declared the end of your old identity. And now your consciousness is rearranging itself to make that desire real. But this shift is not without friction. Your old self is dissolving. The version of you that lived in doubt, in limitation, in lack, cannot follow you into the world you've imagined. That self must die, and that death often feels like restlessness. You may feel uncertain, even afraid, because the familiar is falling away. People may pull back. Habits may no longer soothe you. Goals that once made sense now seem hollow. You're not broken, you're being broken open. That anxious vibration isn't telling you to stop, it's telling you to keep going. The soil is being turned so something new can grow. The discomfort is the cracking of the shell. What you are experiencing is the natural unease that comes when the inner world shifts before the outer world catches up. Your body still walks in one world, But your mind, your inner reality, has already stepped into another. The tension you feel is simply the gap between the two. And the more you remain faithful to your imagined end, the more that gap will close. Most people misunderstand this moment. They interpret the anxiety as failure. They begin to doubt. They speak against their desire, and in doing so, they return to the old self. But you know better now. You recognize the restlessness for what it truly is, evidence that the inner work is unfolding. You are becoming unfamiliar with your past because you are becoming intimate with your future. Don't run from this feeling. Don't numb it. Sit with it. Welcome it. Know that it is not the enemy. It is the labor pain before the birth. The discomfort is holy. It means your thoughts are no longer echoing the life you had, but are starting to vibrate with the life you chose. This feeling will pass, and when it does, you will be on the other side of something sacred. But for now, trust it. Let the inner shaking take place. Let the illusions fall apart. What seems like chaos is the exact process through which order is born. What feels like anxiety is the fire that burns away the old. Remain calm, remain faithful, and most of all, remain in the assumption of the wish fulfilled. For what you desire is not ahead of you, it is within you, and it is already taking form. The restlessness is the sound of walls crumbling. Stay still. Something beautiful is emerging from within. There comes a sacred point in the process of manifestation when the desire no longer feels distant, feels present. It begins to feel so real, so natural, that it overrides what your senses show you. Nothing in the outer world may have shifted yet, but inside you something has already changed. You walk with a quiet certainty. You breathe with an invisible knowing, and this is the sign. Your manifestation is alive. It has moved from imagination into embodiment. When the desire becomes more real than the physical world, it's not because something outside has convinced you. It's because something inside has awakened. You've stepped into the state where you no longer ask when or how. You simply dwell in the feeling of it is done. The desire, once a hope, is now an identity. You don't chase it, you carry it. You don't affirm to make it happen, you affirm because it already has. This inner shift is not loud. It doesn't always come with excitement. In fact, it's often marked by peace. A kind of stillness settles in your soul. The mental effort fades. You stop trying to convince yourself. You no longer need signs or proof because the proof lives in your assumption. You feel the reality within more powerfully than anything you can see or touch. Your mind stops arguing, doubt loses its grip. And even if challenges arise, even if the world still denies what you know, you are unmoved because you've seen it, you've felt it, you've walked in it within. And now your job is not to push or struggle, but to remain, to rest in the knowing that what is felt deeply will harden into fact. This is the true alchemy of manifestation. When the inner reality becomes so dominant that the outer world has no choice but to reflect it. The desire has rooted itself in your being. It no longer visits you as a passing thought. It lives in you, and you wear it like a garment, invisible to others but undeniable to you. The world may still speak of lack, the bank account may still show less, the relationship may still be absent, but you feel full, you feel connected, you feel rich, because what you feel is real. More real than form, more real than conditions. And this feeling is not imagination anymore. It's creation in its purest form. People will not understand this moment. They look at your life and see no change, but they don't need to. The change has occurred where all true change begins, in the unseen. And once the inner shift is stable, once the state is occupied completely, the bridge of incidents will unfold on its own. You will be led, without effort, to the physical confirmation of what you already know. So if your desire feels more real than what's in front of you, rejoice. You have entered the secret. You have crossed the threshold where faith becomes sight. Now don't try to make it happen. Simply live as if it already has. Because in the world that truly matters, it has. The rest is simply catching up. When you begin to dwell in the feeling of your desire already fulfilled, something remarkable happens. Not through force, not through struggle, but quietly, with subtlety. People and circumstances around you begin to shift. It's not always dramatic or obvious at first. It might be a change in someone's tone, a random opportunity, a delay that turns into a blessing, or a chance encounter that opens the exact door you needed. This is the universe, or more precisely, consciousness itself, rearranging the outer world to match the inner reality you've chosen to live in. Your assumption, your inner conviction is a seed, and once planted, it must grow. But unlike physical seeds that need sunlight and soil, the seed of assumption grows by feeling, by persistence in thought, by the refusal to entertain the opposite. When you hold your vision firmly and walk through each day with the knowing that it is already yours, life bends to that knowing. People who once ignored you may now notice you. Conversations may arise out of nowhere that guide you toward your desire. Opportunities may fall into your lap, but none of this is random. None of it is coincidence. The world is not separate from your mind. It is your mind pushed out. And the moment you change the arrangement within, the world must obey. The faces, the events, the outcomes, all begin to dance to the rhythm of your dominant assumption. But here's the beauty. It does not require your conscious management. You do not need to figure out how it will unfold. You are not responsible for the construction of the bridge. Your only role is to occupy the state, to persist in the feeling of being the person who already has what they desire. And when you do that, the world becomes clay in the hands of that new identity. Sometimes this rearrangement will look like loss. Certain people may fall away, plans may get cancelled. What once felt stable may crumble. Do not fear this. The old structure must fall to make way for the new. When something exits your life during this shift, it is because it cannot follow you into your chosen state. Every ending in this phase is preparation. Every delay is redirection. And every detour is sacred. You are not at the mercy of random events. You are the cause. And when your inner reality changes, the outer world, like a mirror, cannot help but reflect it. This is why persistence is key. Because even when nothing looks different, the shift is already in motion. The people, the calls, the emails, the opportunities, all are being moved into position. You are not being tested, you are being aligned. The world is not resisting you, it is responding to you. And when you feel the desire as already done, when you live in the end, then reality must conform to that end. It may arrive quietly, it may come wrapped in disguise, but it will come. So when people change, when doors open, when delays occur, recognize what's happening. Your world is rearranging. Stay in your assumption. Remain faithful to your vision and allow the divine choreography to unfold exactly as it must. There comes a point in your manifestation journey where you stop asking, stop doubting, stop looking for signs, and you simply let go. But not because you gave up, not because you lost faith. You let go because you finally understand. It's already done. The desire that once felt so distant now feels close, familiar. like something that belongs to you. And in that quiet realization, the urge to control disappears. The need to chase, to beg, to force outcomes, it all dissolves. You don't let go by effort. You let go by knowing. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting your desire. It means no longer identifying with the version of you who lacks it. You no longer operate from the energy of lack, fear, or impatience. You don't search for evidence that it's coming, because in your heart, you've already received it. You walk in the world as if the thing you once wanted is already part of your life, and because of that, you stop trying to make it happen. You rest in the state of being. This is not detachment in the cold, indifferent sense. This is detachment through embodiment. You've so thoroughly accepted the reality of your desire that you no longer obsess over its arrival. Your mind is calm. Your spirit is light. You may still take action, but the action is inspired, not desperate. It flows from confidence, not from fear of missing out. Letting go happens naturally, when your imagination becomes more compelling than your senses. You've rehearsed the end so many times in your mind, felt the joy, the gratitude, the relief, that it becomes more real than what your eyes can see. You don't check the physical world for confirmation because the confirmation lives within. You stop needing reassurance because you've already assumed the identity of the one who has it. In this state, even the waiting feels different. Time is no longer your enemy. You're not counting days or watching the clock. Instead, you're living in alignment with your fulfilled desire, enjoying the unfolding without tension. You begin to see that control was always an illusion. The more you tried to force outcomes, the more resistance you created. But now, by surrendering the how and when, you've opened the path for the manifestation to arrive in the most perfect and unexpected way. You've stepped back, and in doing so, you've allowed the deeper intelligence of life to orchestrate what your limited mind never could. People may notice something different in you. You seem lighter, more peaceful, not because everything has changed on the outside, but because everything has shifted within. You no longer speak from a place of needing, you speak from a place of having, and the world responds to that vibration. So if you find yourself no longer desperate, no longer checking, no longer grasping, don't question it. Celebrate it. That stillness, that peace, is the greatest sign of all. You are no longer trying to get it. You are living as if it's already yours. And because of that, it must come. It often happens when you've committed fully to your desire, when you've been dwelling in the feeling of it already being yours, that life begins to test the firmness of your inner stance. Unexpected delays arise. Things that seem to be moving forward suddenly pause. Opportunities that look promising vanish without explanation. People may act out of character. Circumstances may feel like they're working against you. But understand this deeply, these are not blocks. These are not signs that your manifestation is failing. These are purifications, sacred adjustments that test and strengthen your alignment with the unseen reality you've claimed. The moment you declare that something is already yours, life begins to respond. But it doesn't always do so in a straight line. Instead, it begins to remove what doesn't belong to the version of you who has already received. The delays you encounter are not punishment. They are precision. They are removing interference, reshaping the path, and refining you in the process. You are being asked one question. Will you remain faithful to your vision, even when the world gives you every reason to doubt? That is the test. That is the purification, not of your worth, but of your awareness. Are you embodying the state of the one who already has it? Or have you slipped back into being the one who is waiting? These obstacles are mirrors. They reflect to you the areas where your faith still wavers, where you still cling to fear or control. But they're also invitations. Every delay is an opportunity to respond as the fulfilled version of yourself, to feel the truth of your desire even when nothing visible supports it. And when you do that, when you remain still in the storm, something powerful happens. The old state breaks, and the new state becomes dominant. Most people run when faced with these disruptions. They declare it's not working. They shift their assumptions back to lack and uncertainty. And in doing so, they return to the very state they were trying to escape. But you understand now that the obstacle is not in the way, it is the way. It is the proving ground where your conviction is solidified. When delays happen, when things fall apart or seem to stall, ask yourself, how would I feel if it were already mine? Then return to that feeling. Rest in that identity. Refuse to be shaken by appearances, because appearances are temporary, but states are eternal. The physical world is only ever catching up to what has already been accepted within. Trust the timing. Trust the silence. Trust even the struggle, for it is polishing you. It is removing the residue of your former self. You are being shaped not just for the desire, but into the person who can sustain and enjoy it. The wait is not idle. It is transformative. So when the delays come, stand tall in the unseen. Speak from the fulfillment. Walk from the outcome. And know that nothing is lost, only refined. The manifestation has not left you. It is being prepared for perfect arrival. All you must do is hold the inner stance. It is already done. As you persist in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled, something mysterious begins to unfold around you. Without effort, without planning, signs begin to show up. Repeating numbers on clocks and license plates, meaningful songs on the radio, random conversations that speak directly to your situation. Dreams grow vivid, sometimes surreal, but undeniably symbolic. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. They are echoes of your inner world, showing up in the outer to remind you the unseen is responding. When you begin to dwell consistently in a new state of being, the version of you who already has, who already is, the outer world must follow. But before the full physical manifestation arrives, you are often shown signs. These signs are not to convince you. You don't need to be convinced if you are truly in the state. Rather, these signs are reflections of the alignment you've already cultivated. They mirror the frequency you're operating from. Repetitive numbers like 111, 222, or 555 may begin to appear with strange frequency. Each time you look at the time, the same digits greet you. These numbers carry meaning only because your consciousness is tuned into them. You notice them now because your awareness is sharper, more connected. Your inner eye is open. You're no longer looking outward for validation. You're seeing outward from the truth you've accepted within. And then there are the dreams. You may dream of arriving at a destination, receiving a message, or being handed something you've longed for. Even if the dream seems nonsensical on the surface, it leaves you with a strong emotional residue, a sense that something is already happening, already near. These dreams are your subconscious processing and aligning with the new identity you've chosen. They're a sign that your inner world is being reordered to match your desire. Synchronicities also begin to multiply. You think of a person and they call. You speak of something and see it moments later. These occurrences are not magic tricks. They are the natural consequence of a mind in tune with its higher self. The world around you is reflecting your dominant assumption, and the more you dwell in the more frequent these signs become. It's important not to chase these signs. They are not the source, you are. The signs follow the assumption, not the other way around. If you begin to look for signs to feel secure, you shift back into the state of not having. But when you remain confident and steady in your knowing, the signs will flow freely. like leaves carried on the wind of your belief. Let them come. Let them delight you. Let them gently remind you that you are not alone, that the unseen forces of reality are moving in harmony with your desire. But stay rooted in your inner conviction. The signs are beautiful, but they are just footprints leading to the fulfillment that already exists within you. So smile when they appear. Whisper thank you when the dream visits. Take it as a nod from the universe, a wink from your deeper self, and know that the bridge of events is building quietly, precisely, perfectly. Your assumption is alive, and all of reality is beginning to echo it. All manifestation begins within. Your inner state, what you consistently assume to be true, is the architect of your outer reality. When you feel the desire as done, when you walk in the unseen as if it was seen, the world around you begins to shift in response. Inner restlessness signals transformation. The desire becomes more real than what your eyes can observe. People and events align not by effort, but by the silent force of your conviction. You begin to release the need to control, because your spirit already knows. It is yours. Even the delays are not denials. They are divine adjustments. And the signs, the numbers, the dreams, they are not random. They are reflections of the reality you have already chosen to live. Do not waver, do not look to the world for proof, look within and remain in the knowing. Because if you can hold the feeling, the outer must conform. Your assumption, your belief is the cause. And once accepted, it is only a matter of time before the invisible becomes visible. Sincerely, thank you for listening. Stay faithful to the unseen, live from the end, and let your world reflect the greatness you've already imagined.